Hey guys, what is up? What is up? It is Crypto Bobby. Hope you are having a good day, good night wherever you are watching in from, and hope you're enjoying a $7,000 Bitcoin for the time being, because this is a pretty crazy day in the world of cryptocurrency. Pretty crazy damn time to be alive. I'll tell you that much. It's been incredible watching these movements on a consistent basis from Bitcoin. So it's been an absolute blast to watch. And like I said, hope you guys are having a great day, great night wherever you are, wherever you're watching in from. So I literally just sat down. So no whiskey tonight. It's the Jets are playing, so I need something smooth and calm to mellow me out, aka red wine. So we're rolling with red wine tonight. And that's what's going down. Tim Cruz, dude. Thanks for the CoinMarketCap plugin recommendation. Yeah, I think that was a good idea for sure. Thank you very much for that, dude. Hey, from Italy, what is happening, my man? What's happening? What's happening? And yeah, guys, today really want to, to everybody who's dialing in right now and watching, really today wanted to hop in and talk a little bit about wine is for girls. That's a hardo thing to say. Definitely a hardo thing to say. Wine is not just for women. Wine is fantastic, especially red wine. What's up, Kuwait? What's up, dog? AC, what's good, my man? I've lost. Actually, I did all right last time I was in AC, so we'll live. Yeah, it's Francis Edward. It's Francis Coppola. Not too expensive. It's like $20 a bottle. Can definitely live. Awesome, guys. So as far as today goes, really wanted to hop in, and Jets are playing tonight at 8:30, but wanted to hop in and take your questions before the Jets game, and get myself in a good mood before the Jets just take the wind out of my sails and really screw me over. So wanted to hop in and talk about that. So any questions you guys have, absolutely feel free to sound them off. Somebody was bitching and moaning before the show even started that it didn't answer their question last time. So if you want to ask it again, ask it again. If not, stop crying about it. I try to do my best. I really do. And if it's something you absolutely must have answered, throw it in a super chat. But if not, I try to get to as many as damn possible. But as always, I appreciate all your questions, and it's freaking so sweet to hang out with all you guys and chill. Yeah, Bills are probably going to crush the Jets, but that's life. Henry, what's up, my dude? What's up with LTC? Let's take a look. So, I think the big thing right now that we want to look at is looking at, OMG go down to $5. We can definitely talk about that. Looking right now at the Litecoin charts, so I'll pull up in the day charts. Litecoin has had zero momentum since Litecoin peaked early September and really has had zero momentum and basically been on an absolute downward slope since then. Absolute downward slope since then. So I recorded a video tonight, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it tomorrow. I'm going to post it tomorrow. Got a bunch of stuff going on this weekend, weddings and such. So I pre-recorded some content for you guys because I didn't want to not be having anything come out tomorrow. So I pre-recorded some content beforehand now, and a couple different things you guys are saying as far as Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum. I think there are going to be some very interesting plays going up and into the B2X fork. So that's what tomorrow's video is actually going to be about, is talking about the the altcoins or the cryptos that I'm evaluating prior to the B2X fork to either put my money into the second the fork happens or even beforehand, because we've talked a little bit about it beforehand, but I think that a lot of people are saying that the altcoins are going to have somewhat of a spike after the Bitcoin, after Bitcoin Cash. I mean, I'm out of it right now. After the B2X fork happens, so I'm looking at what cryptocurrencies are going to give me the best return, and the thing that I'm evaluating actively right now, and I'll get to that Amazon in a second. Thing that I'm evaluating actively right now is can I beat the returns of the B2X futures and the B2X dividend, whatever it might be, which is like 18%, or am I going to be better off? Will those altcoins outpace 18%? Will they make me 20, 30%, whatever it might be? So that's interesting. Somebody mentioned, did you hear about Amazon's 3 crypto domains? Yeah, I did. I don't think it's anything to get too worked up about. I feel like anytime something happens with Amazon, people just want to freak out, throw a party, and act like Bitcoin's going to like $1 billion. And it could be like, I think Amazon has owned AmazonBitcoin.com since like 2014. And they haven't done anything with it. So because they bought Amazon cryptocurrencies and Amazon cryptocurrency, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be like doing anything crypto related, at least yet. And it could very much just be that Amazon is parking their domains to protect their brand. So, and a lot of people have said, and Rye Winchester mentioned, Amazon might make their own token. That's a definite possibility. But yeah, I don't necessarily think that just because they bought a couple domains that it really means anything. So I would just say that that's more likely than not, it doesn't mean anything. It's just them protecting their brand. So we'll see how that plays off. But I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I think there's a lot of people that online try to get people worked up and just all emotional and shit. And I don't think that's right by any stretch. And so somebody else mentioned, am I going to that? I forget who it was. Somebody mentioned, am I going to that webinar tonight? Yeah, there's a webinar that's getting pumped pretty hard. I've had a bunch of people tweet at me. I've had a bunch of people send me direct messages. I don't know the content in the webinar, quite frankly. I don't know the content in the webinar. It's from the guys at the Palm Beach Confidential. The only thing I'd say is that, like, unless you have a ton of money in the space, I know Palm Beach Confidential sells for $3,000. Their newsletter sells for $3,000. So if your portfolio is like $5,000 or $10,000, it's really not worth spending 30% of your portfolio on a newsletter. So I mean, that's just my take there. And those webinars are pretty crazy because I know internet marketing. And I definitely know internet marketing. I know the space, and I've like studied the space. And it's that type of stuff is crazy because they're just going to get on there and they're going to jack people up and they're going to talk about the past returns they've had and that they called NEO and that they called OMG and that they made 2,000% here and 3,000% there and all this stuff. And then you're going to be pulling out your credit card at the end of it, spending $3,000 or whatever it is that you didn't know you had or that you didn't want to have and or didn't want to spend. And I just think that that's something that, if you want to go on the webinar or on any webinar, it doesn't have to be that one tonight, but if you want to go on a webinar and learn something, that's great. But it's you're probably gonna end up spending a lot of money. And for people, if you got $100,000 in crypto right now, if you got $100,000 or $50,000 in crypto, and you want to spend $3,000 for a newsletter that's going to hopefully give you a good trade that you can make 50% on or whatever it might be, and you bet $10,000 to make 50%, that $3,000 is paid for itself and you made $2,000 in additional profit. But if you're somebody like a lot of people in crypto where, maybe you have a couple $1,000s in the space, don't mortgage your damn house to buy a newsletter. It's just, it's not good. It's not that smart. And, I don't, again, and I've seen a lot of people say good things about these guys, so I'm not saying that they're, that they're bad at all, but you could have thrown a rock anywhere and made 1,000. I made 1,000% on Dogecoin in 2017. I made 1,000% on Dogecoin. I forgot that I had Dogecoin. I forgot that I had 1 million Dogecoin, and I made 1,000%. I bought 1 million Dogecoin for like $300, and I sold it in June. And didn't mean I was smart. It just meant that the entire market went freaking crazy. So definitely something to, definitely something to be aware of. Crypto Spark, what is up, my man? Hope you are having a good one. Love the videos, as always. So somebody mentioned, Luke Franks mentioned, is there a chance that B2X could completely replace Bitcoin as we know it? Do you reckon? There is a chance. I would say it's not a high probability, but it is a chance. And there's been a couple different things. I don't know if you guys saw here. I'll pull it up. But Charlie Lee actually got in a fight with his brother today, or had a tweet and called out his brother. What do we got here? So Charlie Lee called out his brother, where he said, yes, Bobby Lee is Charlie's brother. Bobby Lee runs the exchange Bitcoin China or BTCC. I can never pronounce that at all. But basically said that if the SegWit 2X becomes more valuable than Bitcoin, then they will in the future consider the SegWit 2X coin or the B2X coin to be the true Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin Core or the original Bitcoin to be an altcoin. So, and that's something that I think a lot of people or some of the businesses out there are looking at, is if B2X becomes more valuable than Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin or Bitcoin Core, whatever the hell you want to call it, what do we call B2X? Does B2X become, if it's more valuable, does it become Bitcoin? And I somewhat doubt that B2X is going to come anywhere near. I mean, if you look at the futures market right now, it's trading at, what's it trading at right now? So the futures market, granted, it's the futures market, so it's really, I mean, we'll see how accurate this is. And Bitcoin Gold was trading much, much higher prior to what Bitcoin Gold actually turned out to be. But SegWit 2X is 17% as valuable right now, or B2X is 17% as valuable as Bitcoin is. So for that scenario to happen, for B2X to overtake Bitcoin or Bitcoin Core, you would have to see a pretty significant increase. And we'll end up seeing what goes on there. And a couple different people have mentioned Bitcoin Cash, and again, I'm going to talk about that in tomorrow's video. But Bitcoin Cash is an interesting one. I'm not a Bitcoin Cash fan personally. I'm not really. It's just not something I get really hyped up about. And I don't like the way, in a lot of cases, they kind of like attack the Bitcoin Core. I don't like the whole attacking stuff, but then again, I go after BitConnect, so to each their own. But Bitcoin Cash might be interesting coming up in the next 2 weeks. I mean, it's had a really good run so far, and in the past couple of weeks, and has traded pretty nicely, kept up with Bitcoin. Bitcoin Cash kind of I don't want to say bottomed out, but found this little base in the mid-October in the low 300s, and is now up to almost $600. So Bitcoin Cash just crushed it in the past 2 days. Really made some nice movements. So if you've had Bitcoin Cash, I have no Bitcoin Cash personally, but we'll see what ends up going on there. I also think that Bitcoin Cash in some cases is attacking and is going to try to continue to attack Bitcoin over the SegWit 2X fork and try to claim, wow, Bitcoin Core is so unstable and all this stuff. And in reality, Bitcoin Cash was a fork of Bitcoin as well. So Bitcoin Cash wouldn't exist if not for Bitcoin Core. But we'll end up seeing what goes there. Cheers, Luke. Hope you're having a good one, my man. So Super Chilled mentioned, I think this is an interesting subject of discussion, but lots of people are waiting for a dip to buy Bitcoin. I think it will drop after the fork, but won't stay down for long. Your thoughts? I think that Bitcoin likely will dip after the fork. I don't know how much, how far. The more it dips, honestly, the more I'll buy. But when I'm looking at it, I mean, I think that we look back in history, and I said the same thing about Ethereum, and Ethereum has been a dog recently, but if we look back in history, I don't think $7,000 is going to be the all-time high for Bitcoin. I think at one point in time we're going to hit $10,000. At one point in time we might hit significantly more than that. So I think if Bitcoin goes down, it might be temporary. Could temporary last a year? Yeah. There have been times where Bitcoin has gone up significantly, and then 2014, 2015, 2016 was kind of like a dead year, or dead years where nothing really happened in Bitcoin. A lot of excitement died, and I think that long term Bitcoin is going to continue to move up, and I'm going to continue to try to accumulate as much as possible, because one day this could be like part of me, this is just a moonshot bet for me. I have a large majority of my own holdings in the stock market, which have also done pretty well, not anywhere near as well as Bitcoin, but this is my, Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies are my bet to just get rich as shit. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to get 8% or 10% a year. I'm trying to, I'm trying to pay off my house or do whatever there at some point in time. So that's kind of what I'm looking at as far as Bitcoin goes, or from an investment perspective. I'm also really interested, technically speaking, in how this stuff develops. I am really interested in IT. I have a master's degree in information systems, so I've been a tech nerd for a while. So this type of stuff is really, not only is the fact that you can make 1,000% in this stuff over the course of a year just absolutely ridiculous, but also the technology, like mining, all that stuff is just fascinates me and is really interesting to me as well. And looking at a few more questions here. So somebody else mentioned USI Tech and Genesis Mining. I wouldn't use any cloud mining solutions personally. I don't think they're necessarily bad, but I think you're just better off putting your money directly into Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency that you want to mine, because you could calculate the profitability on your own, and typically it's not very profitable. Either buy the cryptocurrency directly, or if you're really interested in mining, buy a mining rig, buy a couple GPUs, build yourself a mining rig. I don't know if I necessarily recommend buying an ASIC miner, just because I think that's that's a little crazy. But yeah, USI is not something. If you don't even have, I'm not a big fan of USI or any of those USI, BitConnect, BitPetite, whatever BS is out there these days. Anything with direct promises of returns is full of crap, quite frankly. That's anything there that has a direct promise of return is USI is not a scam. Yeah, sure. Am I invested in regular stocks? Yes, I am. I have a lot more regular stock than I have cryptocurrency, unfortunately. If I put all the money in the stock market in the past, if I put all the money that I put in the stock market, be it my 401k and all that stuff in the past, and just my regular stock portfolio, if I had done all that, my stock options, if I just put that directly into cryptocurrency in the past year, I would be a multi-millionaire, but I'm not. So we'll see there. Somebody mentioned I sell my BMC tokens. The bags are getting heavy. Yeah, I ended up selling my BMC tokens recently. I ended up selling my Manetha recently as well, so drink. But the bags there were getting a little bit too heavy, and I think overall, I really like the Black Moon crypto project. I like a lot of the ICOs, but the ICO market itself has really, really, really cooled down. It's some of the ICOs that, unless an ICO literally has a product on day one, then I wouldn't put a penny into it. So you really need to be investing in ICOs. If you're going to invest in ICOs, you need to be investing in ICOs that have a product day one, because I think that people are expecting things quickly, and they're expecting a rapid advance. And basically every ICO that I invested in a lot of ICOs initially, whether it was Status, whether it was Civic, and tried to invest tried to invest in PayToken, didn't get into that one. But I invested in a bunch back in like June, July, August, made a ton of money. I invested in September and October, and I've lost money, I think, on every ICO I put money into in like September and October for the most part. Like AirSwap got crushed, Manetha. I sold a little bit of profit and then got greedy and held on to the rest. That was a mistake. I could have made 3x profit. I sold for probably 60% of the ICO value that I got in at. A couple other ones, Engine Coin has not turned out well either. So there's been a number of ones recently that just haven't turned out too hot. Should I turn my 401k into crypto? I don't know. That's up to you. That's ballsy though. Definitely ballsy. Incorrect error. What's up, my man? Can I see any way ETH will start to recover value? Do they need more press coverage? I don't necessarily know if they need more press coverage. Let's see. Where's Dev? We got DevCon 3. So I don't know if you guys have been waiting. Yeah, this is kind of funny. There's DevCon 3 going on in Cancun right now, which I am not at. I am in my office, and I'm nowhere near Cancun, and I wish I was in Cancun. And all these YouTubers that go to these meetings, I don't know where the hell you guys get the money to do that, or if you just spend all your money or whatever. But, yeah, Robbie's got a day job, so I'm not in Cancun, although I'd love to be. And enjoy that first beer, Owen. What's going on? But there are a ton of really, really smart people at DevCon 3 in Cancun. I've been seeing stuff all over Twitter about, you got the JP Morgan blockchain team there. You got Vitalik there. You have even Roger Ver is there. There are numerous people in the crypto space kind of all over the place. Here's the JP Morgan blockchain team with Vitalik. So there's some really smart people that are at this event right now, and I think Ethereum is doing a really good job concentrating on the technology, quite frankly. They're really building things, and I think they're putting a ton of effort into the platform, and they're able to make some really nice advancements. So while I'm not super heavy, I have like 18% of my portfolio in ETH right now. I think come the B2X fork, I'm going to move some of that money from Bitcoin to Ethereum. I'm going to move a good amount of my money from Bitcoin to Ethereum because, I don't know. I just have a feeling. Well, we'll see. But I'm excited to see what Ethereum does because Bitcoin there's a lot of infighting. There's a lot of different things going on and a lot of negative things in a lot of respects, the forks, different things like that. But Ethereum is a little bit, I don't know, I get a feeling it's a little bit more together in some respects, and the tech they're working on is really, really interesting to me. So we'll see what happens. So somebody mentioned at some point the different Ponzi pyramid schemes like BitConnect, USI, whatever, will take a heavy hit in that case, and they will fail, and the entire market will take a heavy hit. A lot of people are saying this. I don't. So I agree that at some point in time, something like BitConnect is going to fail. I think the money is going to run out. There is no trading bot. It's what I feel. If you want to show me your trading algorithm, go ahead and show me your trading algorithm. But outside of that, I think you are full of crap. But BitConnect is a massive market capitalization right now. It's close to $2 billion. But I think if the market, where's BitConnect trading at right now? What do we got? So BitConnect is traded basically on its own exchange, on the BCC exchange. $22 million of annual or daily volume on the BCC exchange, so basically on their own exchange and really nowhere else. So to that effect, I think that I don't know. Quite frankly, I think a lot of the people that invest in BitConnect are I don't know. I think you guys kind of know what I want to say, but I'm not gonna totally say it. And if you're putting your money into something like that and you think 40% monthly return and all that good rainbows and unicorns and fairy tales and there's a trading bot and all that good stuff is really true, then great. if and when the music stops, which I think it could go on for a couple years. Who the hell knows? You know, it could go on for a couple years, but I don't think if it goes poof, then fuck it, it goes poof. I don't really think like the market's going to be like. I don't think there's so many people that literally call it a blatant Ponzi scheme like every single day. That if it goes, it goes, and if he dies, he dies. So if it dies, I really don't. I don't see. I don't see. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't see Bitcoin investors saying like, "Oh my God, BitConnect crashed. What are we gonna do?" Like, whatever. Like, oh, told you so. Market might go up. I don't know. I just don't think it's gonna go anywhere or really have a negative effect on Bitcoin. No, somebody mentioned people who invest in BitConnect are Buffalo Bills fans. As a New York Jets fan, I do have a I do have a soft spot in my heart for Bills Mafia because they are a bunch of absolute psychopaths. So I do Bills Mafia. No, they would drop a table through BitConnect. Yeah, gotta love the Rocky reference. Shane from Maine. Is OMG a good buy right now? I have OMG. I'm hesitant to say it's a good buy by any stretch. It's gotten crushed and it's really not showing a lot of upward momentum at all. I mean, not a lot of the altcoins have been, but for me to say now is a good time to for me to say now is a good time to buy Bitcoin. Buy OMG or Omise Go. I don't know if it necessarily is. I'm holding on to mine right now. I'm kind of mad because I was thinking about selling it at like $7.30 US. It's down to $6.40 right now, or $6.24. So I'm holding at this point in time, but I don't think I don't know. It's lost a lot of its momentum, and I think crypto, especially when we're talking about these like these pre-product companies, these companies that don't have a ton in place, or they're really like beta products and things like that. It's all momentum and it's all speculation. Once the speculation dies, once the speculation calms down, then the price calms down, and you've seen that with OMG. So we'll see what goes on there, but it'll be interesting to see how that rolls. OMG is one of the ones I'm looking at prior to the fork, though, maybe increasing my holdings a little bit, quite frankly. I mean, I sold off some of my OMG at around like $8.50, moved that into Bitcoin. That's been a good move for me. So, what coins shot up the last two forks? So, this is a little bit too kind of. It's a lot of the questions. So hopefully tomorrow's video will be helpful as well. Joe Mar, what is up, my man? But hopefully this will be helpful too as far as tomorrow's video. But I talk about a lot of it for tomorrow's video. XRP is the secret coin. Anytime you have to pay for a secret coin, I'm skeptical. But if you guys want to throw me like $100 each in the super chat, looks like right now there's 499 people, so let's say 500 people. If you each throw me $100 in the super chat, so what do we got? I'm not a mathematician, but that's 50 grand. So yeah, if you guys just want to, I'll give you a secret coin if you each pay me $100. If that works out well for you, high five. I'll see it in the super chat. I will continue to make videos. If we want to really say if you guys want to do $1,000 instead of $100, I'll never make a video again. So we can go on that too. I'm totally serious. What do we got? Somebody mentioned in Ireland right now. Christopher mentioned in Ireland drinking whiskey. Do you do anything else in Ireland besides drink whiskey? No, I'm kidding. But what am I drinking? It is a little Cab Sauv, red wine. Why not? Yeah, somebody mentioned the webinar is free. Webinar is free to watch. Getting mom's credit card. Do you want to give me the last four of her social security number as well? um, but that webinar is free to watch. The webinar is free to watch, but it's going to jack you up and it's going to make you think that the last 15, I guarantee you on the webinar, the last 15 minutes of that webinar are going to say the exact format of any webinar is we're going to establish credibility. We're going to talk about how awesome we are. And then after that, we're going to talk about how successful we are. And then we're going to give you a smidgen of a tip to somewhat mirror that success and get you really interested and show you how smart we are. And then after we give you that tiny bit of a tip, we're going to tell you all the tips that we'll give you for the low price of 4 payments of $497 or one large payment of $1,497. And if you have to buy in the next 48 hours, and we're going to send you 10 emails over the next 48 hours to make sure that you do buy. So I don't know the webinar that well. I'm not on it. The Jets game is going on tonight, so I'm not going to watch it. But if the webinar is any different than that, tell me, because that's every webinar I've ever been on in my life, where it just jacks you up and makes you want to buy it. You go on, you're like, oh, this is a free webinar, free content. Woohoo, I'm going to learn so much. And then you go on, and then they're selling this shit out of you. So put your anti-sales hat on if you want to keep your money in your wallet. Yeah, they are going to name a coin, and it's probably going to pump so hard. It's definitely true. And then when that happens, it's the thing that I was talking about earlier is this is probably going to result in basically a pretty big pump, but depends on what pumps and how much it pumps and how much money you bet on it. So if this, like the thing from the webinar costs $3,000 and you're only betting like $5,000 and it only pumps 50%, then you really didn't make that much money. You didn't even pay for your investment in the thing. So something to consider. How's Chainlink doing? Not well. Chainlink's murdering me. So Chainlink has been real rough. Nobody ever talks about their losses. Except me, I lose all the time. Just look at Chainlink. Look at AirSwap. It's not my webinar, Manoj. So a couple different people asking, when will VTC stop bleeding? I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say this is a clear pump and dump, but had some signs of a little pump and dump. Yeah, look at Manitha. I've definitely lost money there. So Nathan mentioned investing in ETH for the technology or the currency. It's interesting, but yeah, James, I did mention that before. It's not a I don't think the Amazon is a huge deal. I really just don't think it's that big of a deal. HTV Network, yeah, I did end up selling my Black Moon crypto, my Manitha. Just didn't see a lot of upward momentum, so I sold at a loss, like I'm sure a lot of people have done so far. But definitely keeping an eye on it and considering kind of putting money back in, depending upon where things end up rolling there. So Joran, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is it true Julian Hosp from 10X will do an official announcement tomorrow? Do you think it will affect the price much? I'm hesitant for all these like announcements that always that are always happening and jacking up the price of a specific cryptocurrency. 10X has really taken it's been on a hasn't done super great since its big pump back in August. I mean, it crushed it, went all the way up to $600 million, and is now down way below. So we'll have to see how that ends up panning out. But I don't know. I mean, quite frankly, I have no clue about the context of the announcement. But I know there's been a couple different announcements recently that have actually resulted in further sell-offs. So that's something to keep in mind as well. It's definitely not. It used to be like you could announce that like the founder of your company took a crap and your coin would go up like 50%. Hey Mark, what's going on, man? Appreciate the question. That super chat. Thank you very much for that, dude. My wife is showing interest in crypto. Good sites? What good sites can she get a good primer on the topic? A place with deep knowledge for beginners. So a couple different things I would recommend that I think are fairly interesting, and let's see if I could. So, actually, I don't think I have a link to it. But one book I would recommend is Digital Gold. If she hasn't read or listened to that, that's a really good book on the founding of Bitcoin. It's very, I would say, Mark, it's pretty. It goes over some of the technicals, why it was founded, or why it was created, really not founded, why it was created, who created it, or Satoshi, and kind of the backstory there, some of the initial guys in the space. So Digital Gold is very interesting just to give you a high-level understanding of where Bitcoin came from, where cryptocurrency came from, how these were born out of the cypherpunk movement, the libertarian roots, things like that. Really interesting. Somebody else mentioned Andreas Antonopoulos. I can't pronounce his name. He's a good dude as well. He has a lot of good YouTube videos online as far as explaining Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies for the average individuals. So that's definitely something that is interesting as well. And outside of that, I guess it depends on what she's looking to learn too. I mean, if it's trading, if it's just specific. It could, I don't know if it's like trading stuff, if it's investment, or if it's more about the history. There's some interesting things there. Yeah, Josh mentioned after making some free money, my wife is more tolerant. Yeah, I think a lot of us are in that boat. Yeah, and somebody else mentioned banking on Bitcoin on Netflix. That's also pretty good. That coincides a lot with. Definitely coincides some of the content. I think Nathaniel Popper is even on that, but Digital Gold is with Digital Gold, Nathaniel Popper. Yeah, for sure. Somebody mentioned, when am I going to release Beercoin for these chats? Yeah, I'm going to have my own Crypto Bobby ICO. At first, I don't know if you guys are still interested in the Pigeon ICO. I think that still has legs, but outside of that, yeah, it'd be cool to get some beer coins with beer coins, or in today's case, some red wine coins. I hate this. Like, what the? It's like a freaking barbed wire stuck around the wine bottle. What are you doing, Francis? BCH flipping is coming. I don't know about that. That's a little aggressive, but we'll see what happens there. Yeah, Bobby Coin. It's coming. It's coming. Get rich. Hey, the launch of Bobby Coin can't go any worse than the Electroneum launch, can it? Not to rub that in for any Electroneum fans out there, but I've been keeping an eye on that, and that has been absolutely brutal seeing that. I had somebody was really going after me on Twitter because I was kind of joking around on Electroneum, but I even tried to mine Electroneum today, and they have official mining pools, and like none of them are working. You can't even really mine it unless you unless you install some different, like their native app doesn't really work too much. So I love Dogfish Head, so that's Dogfish Head is pretty dope. Yeah, if you invest in Bob Connect, I promise you 41% monthly returns. 41% monthly returns on Bob Connect. So somebody just mentioned, what do I mine with? Well, what do I mine with? Well, I was just playing around on a PC, and actually, yeah, I was playing around on a PC just to use CPU miner and to see if that was legit, but it didn't even work. So, Thoughts on trading bots? Do you have a trading bot that works? I mean, I don't know if that's. I hope it's not in regards to a BitConnect trading bot and it's something that's like actually algorithmically done. But one of my thoughts on trading bots is if it's a trading bot, if it's like a platform that allows you to build your own, that's an interesting concept. If it's a trading bot that you are purchasing from somebody else, then if a trading bot is so valuable, nobody would ever sell it. That's the biggest thing on in my mind, is that if you're making a ton of money with a trading bot, I love you guys, all of you, but if I was making a shit ton of whatever, if I was making however many percentage points on utilizing a trading bot that I had custom programmed or whatever, and I'm not an engineer, so this wouldn't ever happen. But if I was making a ton of money on a trading bot, I would never give anybody else access to it. I would just continue to bang that trading bot out and milk it for everything it's worth until that algorithm just becomes useless. So until somebody else finds out. So that's, I think, something important. Christian, what is that? 37 cents? You're rolling in dough, my man. You're rolling in dough. Actually, no, it's at like 6 cents right now. You made like $1. John O'Sullivan. I would never guess you're Irish. Never guess. O'Sullivan, isn't that Italian? So somebody asked, do you think that Bitcoin will get another small pump before the fork, and will the alts continue to bleed more? Because I see some resistance in a lot of alts. I mean, we still have 2 more weeks. I think it's literally 2 weeks until. Yeah, I will. We still have 2 more weeks until the B2X fork, so there could still be a lot more price action in Bitcoin and a lot more upward price action in Bitcoin and a lot more price action in Ethereum. In the altcoins going down. So we'll have to see there. Hey, somebody mentioned the BitConnect music video. If you guys haven't seen it, the first thing that I did when I got my new green screen, that I didn't even put a background on this video because I literally sat down to it. But the first thing that I did when I got this green screen, here we are. I'll put a link to this. But if you guys want to watch me dancing at the BitConnect conference, I crushed it. This conference was awesome. I had a really, really good time. A lot of great music, really solid music video. I was a big fan. If you guys want to watch that video, I just put the link in the comments there. But and hit me up to follow if you're not following me on Twitter already, where I just post stupid shit like that all the time. What's the best hardware for a wallet, or what's the best hardware wallet? I use Ledger Nano S is what I use. I've heard good things about Trezor as well. I think KeepKey is supposed to be okay too. Ledger Nano S is my go-to. Oh shit, is it still playing? My bad. If that came on volume, I have my computer muted, but if that came on volume for you guys, my sincerest apologies. Where do you store your OMG? What is my Ledger passphrase? It's go F yourself. You're never getting that. I think that's the passcode. I store my OMG on a Ledger Nano S. It's an ERC20 token, so any ERC20... sorry, guys. Really sorry about that. I think I lost... I think like 30 people were like, get me the hell off this thing. Sorry about that. OMG, any other ERC20 tokens you can store on a Ledger Nano S, and you should be good to go there. What would happen if B2X successfully overtook the Bitcoin brand? I don't know. It's a tough question to say. I guess we're gonna have to see what ends up rolling there. But depending upon where, if you have your money in, if you have your money in Bitcoin now and you get an equal amount in the Bitcoin fork, then you wouldn't be too bad off. But I think overall it leads to a lot of confusion and just simply not super great things for the overall Bitcoin world. And so I hope that doesn't happen, but we'll end up seeing there. Will I donate to you? This ain't no soup kitchen, homie. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that. Tim, Ledger Nano S plus My Ether Wallet for OMG. Yeah, it's exactly what I use. My Ether Wallet and Ledger Nano S is great. Really, really love that. Great setup. Works super, super well. Are you comfortable having $25,000 to $35,000 on an exchange like Bittrex? I personally wouldn't be. You better have two-factor authentication. You better have a damn good password. Send Bitcoin, please. How about no? I'm not made of BitConnect loans here, guys. I'm not giving you Bitcoin in the comments section. What are the pop-ups I keep getting? I think this is just from GDAX. So, where do I store alts that aren't compatible with Ledger Nano S? Right now, I actually am not invested in any altcoins that are not compatible with a Ledger. But like previously with Neo, I just had Neo in I had Neo on Bittrex, and that was kind of where I kept that. So something to keep in mind. Guys, my dog died. I know that's a joke, so we'll keep that there. How fast does a GDAX transaction take? If you're just, are you trading or sending money elsewhere? Because I mean, if not, it's pretty quick. Somebody mentioned, what do I think of Kyber Network? Kyber Network is definitely interesting. Kyber Network is a really interesting platform or decentralized exchange. I am not invested in Kyber. Kyber did very well following the ICO, but it's had a rough go since the ICO. Basically, after the ICO went up all the way to well above $300 million, it's now below $130 million. So it's down about 60% since its peak from the ICO. And I think there's a really good team in place, and they're taking a pretty novel approach to decentralized exchange. But they don't have a live product yet. Let's see, so here you go. This is what's important. This is what's of note, the roadmap. They're launching on a test net right now. They launched in August of 2017. For me personally, I would not invest in a crypto right now. For the most part, I wouldn't really invest in a crypto right now or in a recent ICO, at least right now, that does not have a mainnet product. I think that's something that's becoming increasingly important because people want to. It's so easy to speculate all over the place, and I think people want to get instant, quick returns. And once they, there is no utility to the Kyber Network token right now because there isn't anything on mainnet. So while I'm very much a fan of Kyber long term, or interested in their success long term, I think that might be something that takes a while from a price action perspective to make a move up, but who knows? Do I think ETH is being held down by whales or bots, or are they organically held down by ICOs and Bitcoin fever? I think it's mostly Bitcoin fever. I don't know about whales and bots and whatever it might be, but we'll have to see what goes on. But I mean, the big thing too is the Bitcoin dominance has really been incredible in the past couple months. I mean, the past month, Bitcoin, what do we got? We'll do 3 months. So in the past 3 months, Bitcoin dominance has gone from 45%, 44% to up to 60%, 61%. So Bitcoin has really sucked up a lot of money out of the market. Ethereum has lost market share. Ethereum has lost market share. It was up to 20% of market share. It's now down to 15%. Ripple, I think, has lost a bit of market share as well. With atomic swaps, will most exchanges go the way of the dodo? I think that it's something worth it's something worth looking at. But one thing that's interesting is a lot of people love hating on centralized exchanges, and there's a reason for that. Obviously, there's been a lot of negative experience with centralized exchanges like Mt. Gox, like Cryptsy. There have been a lot of hacked centralized exchanges. There's a lot of times where people have, you've had your support token sitting on a centralized exchange for freaking years and nothing happens. There's a lot of things that have gone on with centralized exchanges that haven't been super great. But there are also risks with decentralized exchanges and some of the technology behind that. Like, what if somebody writes a bad smart contract in a decentralized exchange and cyber criminal, that's very stupid phrase, but somebody hacks the decentralized exchange or kind of hacks the smart contract and gets all the money from the smart contract, whatever it might be. You're now placing the onus on with a decentralized exchange or something like that, you're kind of placing the onus on the smart contract and the tech, and tech has been known to fail as well. So I don't think a lot of these decentralized exchanges are completely foolproof there as well. I think they're in a lot of cases a better alternative to a centralized exchange, but there's still a lot of risks there. It's not like just because there's a smart contract doesn't mean somebody couldn't potentially hijack that somehow. How do I see Cardano? I haven't done a ton of research, quite frankly, on Cardano. I've looked at it a little bit, but I haven't done a ton of research to really make a good, solid understanding there. Gravy train for the B2X fork. Do you think we'll have a similar experience as the Bitcoin Gold fork, where Bitcoin continues up until the fork and then drops off, and then ETH, LTC, and the alts pump? I think that might happen again. I'm kind of betting on that to happen again. So we'll end up seeing what goes on with that. But that's kind of my bet for the time being, is that I have the majority of my money in Bitcoin right now, but I think that when that snapshot occurs, that money is going to flow back from Bitcoin into from Bitcoin into the altcoins or some of these altcoins. So I plan on having some exposure to those. Relax, Chicken Kip. And guys, if you are new to the channel by any chance, so I do daily videos on crypto. I have did a video this morning, have a video coming out tomorrow. But if you are new by any chance, hit that subscribe button, and then there's a little notify bell as well. Like somebody said, Mark, missed the notification, tuning in late, all good, my man, don't worry about it. But hit that subscribe button and hit the little notify bell. That way you get notified anytime I do go live. I try to give you some advanced warning of that as well on Twitter and Facebook. But yeah, if you need anything at all, always feel free to sound off in the comments. And like usual, I try to get to as many of them as possible. So we'll see what goes on there. Max, what's up, my man? Bought a Bitcoin for the first time at 17 years old. You're a baller. Should I stay or should I go? If I didn't even, I was just reading that out, and then I realized you turned that into a song. So we got that going on. But yeah, Max, I think at least for the next 2 weeks, you're probably better off in Bitcoin. I don't know how long that'll end up lasting, but I would still hold on to Bitcoin for a bit longer, at least for the next 2 weeks. Long term, I think Bitcoin has the most staying power. I'm excited about it. See ya, Alex. Some of you guys are weird. Long term, I think Bitcoin has some incredible staying power, and we'll see what ends up happening there. But you might have an opportunity to make a nice little bit of a trade in 2 weeks on the B2X fork. Jerry, I am new to crypto and I've read about sites going down out of nowhere. Do you think something like that can happen at Coinbase, GDAX? Well, interestingly enough, so I mean, Coinbase I know a lot of people have. So let's see two things. So I know a lot of people. Jesus Christ, why is everybody yelling? So I know a lot of people get complain about Coinbase a lot, and say this sucks, their support sucks, it sucks, blah 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 blah, and that may be true in some cases. A couple different things to note. So number one, if you're at least in the U.S., I believe. But if you're a U.S. resident, your Coinbase wallet is covered by FDIC insurance up to $250,000. So, and the insurance policy covers a breach of physical security or cybersecurity on Coinbase's end. Granted, if your account and just your account, not like all of Coinbase, if your account gets hacked, that's your problem. Like if you have a password that you didn't change, if you don't have two-factor authentication, that doesn't apply. So that's one thing to check out. The other thing that I would say is that a lot of people like to rip on Coinbase and complain about Coinbase, but they are, in my opinion, fantastic for the crypto community and fantastic for you guys to make more money, quite frankly. If you have money in Bitcoin, if you have money in Ethereum, if you have money in the altcoins, Coinbase is I've said it before, Coinbase is like the gateway drug to cryptocurrency. Like it's the first place you go in crypto. And they're definitely having some issues in terms of scaling support. But yesterday, they had, 100,000 new users in a single day. That's 100,000 people. Probably not all of them end up buying anything, but that's 100,000 people interested in buying cryptocurrency. Starting to buy cryptocurrency on a given day. Like that's freaking incredible. That's nuts. So definitely something, I mean, typically that number is over 10,000 a day. Just something you want to consider. Like it's, and the fees. So, I mean, first place to fuck you with fees. And use GDAX. There's no fees on GDAX, and it's the same thing. So if you don't know how to use GDAX, I have a video on that. Just search GDAX Coinbase and Yuguchi. Somebody mentioned, do I use Gemini to buy Bitcoin? I do not. I've heard Gemini, so that's the Winklevoss exchange. I heard Gemini is a good one as well, but I've had a Coinbase account for like 4 years. I think it's literally been 4 years since I've had a Coinbase account, and I use GDAX to avoid the fees. So if you guys don't know, there is literally, I pop it up here. But Coinbase, GDAX. Oh, there's my face. So if you don't know how to avoid Coinbase fees, actually, shit, that's the wrong video. What the hell is it? Here we go. Okay. Here's the video. It's the same company, GDAX. This is GDAX. It's just the institutional version of Coinbase. If you guys aren't familiar with it, it's what, like, if you're a banker, if you're a trader, this is what you would utilize. You would not go, if you work at, for example, if you work at Goldman Sachs' CEO came out today. Granted, they're not on GDAX, but maybe one day they will be. You would not go on GDAX. Goldman would never go on Coinbase and be like, hey, we want 10,000 Bitcoin. We're gonna buy it at market price. they would go on GDAX and they would type in, market orders, limit orders, stop orders, all that good stuff, and they would go from there. So that's how that would end up rolling for a lot of people. And there are free orders on GDAX as well. So if you're not familiar with it, get familiar. I don't know too much about Grosscoin. I did a little bit of initial research, but don't know too much about Grosscoin. Stefano, I answered that a little bit before, but it'll happen eventually. Who knows how long, but it'll happen. For the most part, I would say that I've had a glass of wine. I don't know if I'm drunk, Rab. For the most part, I would say it is safe to keep your Bitcoin on Coinbase, Coinbase is safe. Are you safe? That's the question. To be honest, that's the bigger issue. Is you are much more likely. It's hot. I have the heat on in my house, and I should not have the heat on in my house, Rab. So I'm hot as shit right now. That's actually the reason, and because I have this little fake crappy light on me. So, let's see. Yeah. But as I'm looking at it, what was the question? I just blanked. Yeah, you're much more of a security issue than Coinbase and GDAX is, in my opinion. Is your password secure? Do you have two-factor authentication enabled? Are you going to get hacked? That's the bigger question. Coinbase is over $1 billion. What do we got? Coinbase has raised $217 million and is worth, I think, at this point in time, about $1.5 billion. So they're no joke in terms of the team that they have and basically the security measures they're taking into place. Out of everybody in the crypto world, they're who I would trust the most out of everybody. But you're still putting that in a third party. So we'll see what ends up rolling on there. But guys, outside of that, the Jets game. So for whatever reason, I like to torture myself. I think the Jets game is about to kick off the next 10, 15 minutes or so. So I'm going to go downstairs, relax, finish this bottle of wine, watch the Jets probably lose, get angry, get worked up, and then go to bed. So I hope you enjoyed this edition of Crypto Happy Hour. I really do appreciate all of your questions, and it's been fantastic talking to you guys. If you joined late, the recorded video should be up. YouTube is typically pretty quick to encode it and get it up. So throw that. Definitely feel free to join in the near future. Definitely feel free to join in the near future on that recorded video, and I'll have a new video up tomorrow as well. I already recorded it, but tomorrow there'll be a video up on what altcoins I'm evaluating prior to the B2X fork. So that's going to be something that's going to go on there as far as that'll be up tomorrow, probably like 9 or 10 in the morning for what altcoins I'm looking at prior to the B2X fork. If you are new to the channel as well, hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for the time. Go Jets, I guess. Crypto Bobby signing out. Peace.